Hi everyone, this is the assignment video for exercise 3-13. It's actually one of the easier assignments that we're going to do. So the first question is you're asked to list the committed resources versus the flexible resources. The committed resources are the ones that the company has no ability to change. Flexible resources are things that can be controlled by the company. So it's not things like mortgage or the equipment that's already purchased. You can't change those facts. So those are resources that you're just going to have to incorporate into the budget. The second one is you're asked to calculate the total annual activity rate for the water testing activity. So if we go back to this information, it gives us, textbook gives us a great paragraph of what we actually have to try to use to calculate the information. So let's go to the file that we're given. And so it actually tells us what we need. So for this first part, here we go, let me get my computer where I needed it. Sorry about that. Okay, so depreciation on lab facility. It's basic depreciation from accounting 1 and 2. So you're going to take the purchase price. In this case, we are not given salvage values. We're told that there are no salvage values for these companies, for these products. So the depreciation is going to be the purchase price divided by the useful life. And this information is provided in the chapter. So for this one, so let me move that formula down so you can see what exactly I'm doing. So for the depreciation on lab facility, it's going to be the lab facility cost $250,000 and the useful life is 10. It's 10 years. So that's how you're going to find the depreciation on the lab facility. Depreciation on the equipment is going to be calculated exactly the same way. You're told in the paragraph that the salaries are $24,000 per technician. So you need to find out how much the salary is total. So you're going to have salary per tech times number of techs. Again, it's basic math. The water testing rate is a little trickier. You're going to have to figure out all of the information. So you're going to have your depreciation amounts for both lab facility and equipment. To that, you're going to add the salaries. And then that is going to be divided by the number of tests per year. With the variable water activity, you're going to take the variable amount, the variable resources, which is going to be based on what you considered flexible resources above. So you're going to take the flexible amount and divide that by the number of tests per year. The fixed rate activity, it's going to be pretty much the same thing as above, except it's going to have one thing, it's going to have one item less. When you calculate this one, you also have to take into account, before you divide, you're going to take into account the flexible costs as well. And then so this one is just going to be the depreciations and salaries divided by the tests per year. And that's how you do parts 1 and 2. Part 3, it gets a little trickier. There's going to be a lot more math. So for total capacity available, you're going to use the activity usage plus the unused activity. So in the book, it tells you last year 86,000 tests were performed. So that's the activity usage. And then the unused activity. So if they're doing 100,000 tests per year, what amount has to be added to the 86,000 to get the 100,000 over here? And then for the last part, you have the cost of activity supplied, so you're going to have the cost of activity used, and then the costs of 14,000 tests. This is where you're going to have to use the information from part 2 to answer. So they're going to have the costs of tests of 86,000 tests added to the cost of 14,000 tests. So the formulas are going to be a little different. And so for this one, let me increase that all the way. Costs of activity supplied. So you're going to figure out the variable rate. So over here, you're going to have, for cost of activity supplied, you're going to have the variable rate. So you're going to have the variable activity rate times the 86,000 tests that were run. But those are actually going to have to be added to another amount, which is what you're going to find out when you're doing the fixed rate activity. So it's going to be, you're going to take the variable rate times the 86,000 tests times, you're going to add the depreciation to it and add the salaries, because those are things that cannot be changed. So that's for that part of the equation. When you get over to the other side of the equation, you're going to have to do the cost per test times the number used, so 86,000. That is going to be added by the cost per test times the 14,000. The cost per test amounts are going to be the only part that differs on this equation. So you're going to be looking at the total water testing rate for the 86,000, because you have to include everything you used. And then the cost per test for the 14,000 is going to be just the fixed amount, the fixed activity rate, because you haven't actually used the supplies for that yet. So if you have any questions on this problem, let me know, and I hope you guys have a great day.